And he never found that document.
Why was he looking for Templar documents?
You're walking through an ordinary village on ordinary ground when you realize that just beneath your feet may lie sealed chambers, hidden fleets, and messages left by men who knew they were about to be erased. These are not legends written in books. They are carved into stone, hidden behind walls, and buried inside buildings meant to look harmless. And that raises a disturbing question. What were the Knights Templar trying so desperately to hide? One of the most shocking claims is that after their official destruction in 1312, the Templars did not simply disappear, but scattered, carrying secrets, relics, and possibly entire fortunes into hiding. For years, historians assumed the order was crushed completely, but scattered evidence suggests something escaped, something protected, something intentionally buried. And that should have ended the story. But then, hidden inside a 15th century chapel in Scotland are carvings so strange that some believe they were meant to preserve forbidden knowledge. Roslin Chapel, completed in 1446 by William Sinclair, is filled with symbols that do not belong in a Christian church. Pagan figures, green men, angels playing bagpipes, and more than 200 stone cubes carved with mysterious patterns above the arches. Some researchers believe these cubes encode a musical composition, possibly a forgotten hymn. Others suspect something far more deliberate was being concealed. To understand why this matters, you have to go back to the fall of the Knights Templar. On Friday, October 13th, 1307, King Philip IV of France ordered the mass arrest of Templars across his kingdom. The order was wealthy, powerful, and independent of royal control. Under pressure, Pope Clement V dissolved the order, and its leaders were imprisoned, tortured, and executed. But just before the arrests, records show that 18 Templar ships vanished from the port of La Rochelle. No cargo lists, no destinations, just gone. For years, scientists assumed the fleet was insignificant or imaginary, but La Rochelle was a major Templar port, and its tax-free status made it ideal for transporting valuables. Some believe the ships fled to Scotland, beyond papal authority, possibly aiding Robert the Bruce before disappearing again. And that's where the real problem begins. Because Roslin Chapel sits on land owned by the Sinclair family, who were closely connected to Scottish nobility and possibly to Templar refugees. Inside the chapel, one carving appears to depict corn, a crop native to the Americas, decades before Columbus sailed. Other carvings may resemble aloe and cactus, plants unknown in medieval Europe. Botanists say coincidence. Believers say impossible knowledge. For years, scholars assumed medieval Europe had no contact with the New World, but these carvings reopened the question in a very uncomfortable way. Then there is the sealed vault beneath the chapel, rumored to lie under the famous Apprentice Pillar. Some believe it holds lost Templar documents, others claim relics from Solomon's temple, and some whisper about the Holy Grail itself. The vault has never been excavated. Ground surveys have been inconclusive, and the chapel remains protected, leaving the theory permanently unresolved. But Roslin is not the only place where Templar secrets may have been hidden. During World War II, a woman in an English village stepped into her garden shed and looked up to see a painted face staring down from the ceiling. The panel had been nailed into the rafters and plastered over, hidden for centuries. When removed, it revealed a life-sized, bearded face painted on oak, with vivid colors and no signs of soot or aging damage. Just 100 yards away stood the ruins of a Templar preceptory founded in 1185. Carbon dating placed the panel between 1280 and 1440, exactly when Templar relics were disappearing across Europe. Some experts compared the face to the Shroud of Turin and found over 100 matching points, more than what is used in fingerprint identification. Trial records preserved in Vatican archives describe Templar initiation rites involving the veneration of a cloth bearing the image of a man. Some believe the panel was once the lid of a chest holding the real shroud, allowing worship without exposing the relic itself, but only the lid was ever found. The rest of the chest vanished, and worse, after its discovery, the painting was washed with household detergent by a local rector. permanently damaging key details. Only one black and white photograph of its original condition survives. Someone, long ago, went to great effort to make sure this image would never be seen. Then there are the messages carved by prisoners who knew their fate was sealed. Inside a tower at a French castle, strange carvings cover the limestone walls: crucifixes, lances, burning hearts, and a desperate plea: "I ask God for forgiveness." Some believe these were carved by imprisoned Templars after their arrest in 1307. Among the symbols appears the name of Grand Master Jacques de Molay. For centuries, historians dismissed them as random graffiti, but in 2001, the Vatican revealed a document proving that Pope Clement V had secretly absolved de Molay and other leaders while they were still in prison. So why were they burned anyway? That contradiction reignited speculation that the carvings were not just prayers, but coded messages. One recurring symbol, the triple enclosure, appears at multiple former Templar sites. Some think it is a fortress design. Others believe it is a map. No agreement exists, but the pattern itself remains unexplained. And then there is the fleet. The night before the mass arrests, 18 ships slipped out of La Rochelle harbor and were never seen again. No wrecks, no survivors, no records of arrival anywhere. Later testimony from a tortured Templar claimed that the fleet carried not only horses and knights, but the order's treasury. Historians say the testimony was hearsay, but no Templar financial reserves were ever recovered, and the ships never returned. Some believe the fleet reached Scotland. Others claim they crossed the Atlantic centuries before Columbus. Most scholars reject both ideas, but the absence of evidence cuts both ways. A fleet that truly vanished would leave exactly this kind of silence. So did the Templars really disappear? In 1804, a document known as the Larminius Charter surfaced, written in a coded script, claiming the order never died but continued secretly through hidden successors for centuries. Critics called it a hoax, but later analysis found medieval spelling errors, inconsistent ink aging, and signatures from men known to have existed. Even a papal decree issued shortly after its supposed creation warned against secret brotherhoods using coded signs and identical dress. For years, historians assumed the charter was invented to revive romantic myths, but some of its details align disturbingly well with real historical events, and that forces a belief break. Maybe the question is not whether the Templars hid something, but how much they managed to hide. So what does all of this mean for us today? It means that even in an age of digital records and satellite imaging, human history can still vanish into walls, ceilings, and sealed stone. Orders can disappear without surrendering their knowledge, and secrets can survive not by being recorded, but by being concealed. But here is the final belief break. We often think that if something truly important existed, it would eventually be found. But the Templar story suggests the opposite, that some secrets may have been designed to remain invisible unless someone knew exactly where to look. What was really on those missing ships? And what still lies sealed beneath chapels, towers, and forgotten buildings across Europe? Until those answers surface, the Knights Templar remain not just a lost order, but a masterclass in how history itself can be hidden in plain sight.